I just am back from 1 week in the Canary Island where I took some time off, and on my vacations I had this X100V with me and shot a lot of vacation photos, as I do always on my vacations. And I thought, why not show you the post-processing workflow of the Fuji RAW photos, because there are several different options that you can go nowadays. And today I will show you the version that is most traditional form, and this is just editing the RAW files in Adobe Lightroom. But there are some tweaks that I think most of the people get wrong when editing Fujifilm RAW photos. And also there is a whole other topic of post-processing the JPEGs, which I also did a lot of new film simulations, and I maybe talk about this in an upcoming video. But today we will strictly focus on the RAW processing of Fuji X100 files. So let's jump right in. And I will also give you one Lightroom preset for free, which you can download on my Gumroad. I already selected these few shots, which we will focus on today. Some of them are already edited and some of them are raw. So we will start with this one, where I will walk you through the steps I will take. This one has already some changes in it, but I will just reset it for you guys. And the first thing and most important thing with the Fuji RAW photos, I think, is choosing the right camera profile. As you are shooting Fuji, I think you like the Fuji colors, the Fuji color processing, and also the film simulations. And here, you aren't really able to replicate these in the RAW files exactly, but you can go and choose a film stock. For example, for this I will choose Classic Chrome, and you can find this here on the profile. And then if you don't see these camera profiles here, you can browse, and then there will be a tab of camera profiles, and you see here all with the stars are the ones that show up. And you also could, for example, negative high, negative standard, you can choose different ones here. But for this shot I would just go with the Classic Chrome. And it's really important to choose this stock in the first place, because all the other changes will go on top of that, and they will affect. If you change the profile again, then you will change up the whole color processing after, which will happen afterwards. So first step, check the camera profile, choose which one you like. And then I think for most of the Fuji shots I will leave this as shot. For example, here we have the 5200 Kelvin temperature, and I quite like the shot already how it is. I will just bump up the exposure a tiny bit. And also, if you choose these camera profiles, I think you can go and increase a tiny bit the vibration, or the vibrance, or the saturation, just a bit. And then we will create here a classic S-curve. I like to do this S-curve on top, or as a reference. You can see here the histogram of your photo. Where are the tones actually sitting on your photo? And then according to that, I will, for example, put this point in the middle right here, and the highlights tone point right here, so you really affect an error, because if you would do it here, it would not be exactly for this photo. And so I will just do a tiny S-curve. I even lift up the shadows here a little bit and decrease the highlights just to give it some more dynamic range, because I think, don't quote me on that, but I think here these changes are made before they go into the tone curve. So we will bring back some of the contrast in the tone curve, maybe adjust that a little bit to the darker side. And I think if you just do a right tone curve, you can really get a ton out of your photos by just doing the right things here in the S-curve. And also what I like to do is you are doing in the Fujifilm photo kind of in the recipes, in the JPEG recipes, you are doing some white balance shift. And where I like to do this with the photos when I edit it in Lightroom is here, down here in the calibration. Let's leave that at this. And I just do the tint a little bit more in the magenta side and the red primary a little bit on the orange side, just like that. And here the cyan, the blue primaries, I like to keep it also pretty low at -9. And what I would like to also to do is go to the extreme and see how the picture is behaving to the adjustments. And I like this to do with all my adjustments, for example, how it looks really bright, how it looks when I decrease the exposure. But for this shot, I will go quite similar to what the photo actually looked on when I was there. So I will also decrease here a little bit of the contrast. Just finding the balance between the tone curve contrast and the other sliders. Just like that, I think looks pretty good. Alright, we can see in the top left corner here, I have a little bit going on. I want to keep it like that. Yes, just like that. And here I really like to, instead of adding more saturation, I like to take away some. And maybe bring back the tones that I really wanted. And maybe you even see here is some banding going on. So I will just take these a little bit out, and just like that, I think I am pretty happy how it looked. Sharpening, I always decrease on these kind of film stock editing styles. And also the chromatic aberration, I think we don't have a lot of chromatic aberration here, especially with this Fuji lens. There is not as much, or I didn't saw any. And you can go here and maybe, I don't know why I don't have my camera here, but I think the closest is the Fuji X100V. And what this will do is just delete kind of the natural vignetting, what you get out of your camera. And I think in this shot I quite like to correct this, but there are some occasions where I see me totally the correction out and just embrace the flaws that this glass has. So what else do we have to do? What I like to do is, because I don't add a lot of, I don't add any sharpening, what is also sharpens the image is when you add a little bit of grain. And I quite like when you have the size pretty small and just like that. I think looks pretty good for me. You also don't notice it that much, but it gives a little bit more pop. I think in this photo what we can do else here is cropping just a tiny bit and also straighten out the horizontal. Oh, didn't do the best job here. Let's do it like that. Maybe also just adjusting the composition a tiny bit to the rule of thirds, and so we have a little bit more of a balanced image. And just like that, we are finished with our first picture. And I have some Lightroom presets, especially made for Fujifilm. I quickly show you what these Lightroom presets look like. For this one, I would take this, and all these presets aren't set and done presets, so you always have to adjust, for example, the white balance, and also in this case the tone curve is pretty aggressive, so we will decrease the contrast here. Also, I think the exposure has to go up a tiny bit on this one. And if you like these colors, you can download this preset. You can also just copy and paste it, but if you want to support this channel, then you can totally buy the preset out of my Gumroad. What I've done in these presets, I just got a little bit more creative with the tone curve, and especially in the different channels. And you can also adjust this to your liking. For example, when you don't like as much red here in the highlights, then you can decrease these and also get here a little bit back. I quite like it how it was. And I think in this photo I quite like how it looked, but just the skin tones are a little bit extremely saturated. So I'll try to decrease this. The saturation, and if you change anything in terms of saturation or white balance or exposure, make sure to adjust also the other tabs, because if you, for example, adjust the white balance, then it's also adjusting the brightness, so you have to balance these out again. For example, here I will do a little bit of a lift. Let's check before and after. I think that did the job quite good. I just wanted to show you one photo here. This is also edited with one of my presets, which you can grab, and this is also shot during midday. What I did here is maxed out here the highlights and shadows, because I had to balance the pretty harsh light, which you can see here. We have pretty strong highlights and shadows. That's it for the first part of my Fujifilm editing video. You can grab the 3 presets that I used for this photo and for the beach photo here in the beginning. I will link that in the description, and you can also buy the presets that are specially made for Fujifilm cameras. And if you want to see how I edit the other photos, I will try to edit these with another technique, and stay tuned for that, and I will see you guys in this video. Let's do just one bonus shot here, because I quite like this and I just wanted to leave it more or less as it is. And I'm quite doing a little bit of a different approach here. I'm doing really a strong vibrancy here, and I will just cut away some parts here. And I quite like the underexposed look. I actually maybe even increase the contrast a bit here. And it's really just a try out process. And I think I already quite like how it looks. Just wanted to add really here decreasing the sharpness again, and also I have to add a little bit of grain, and as I say a little bit, I mean for this shot I actually like it quite grainy, and this looking good. Maybe we can even do a little bit of local adjustment on this house here. Let's try to adjust a little bit of brightness on this house, so it pops out just a tiny bit more. Then check again. The tone of, and I think just like that, I'm quite happy how this image turned out. I normally do also some heavy edits. I think this one is quite a subtle edit, but I like it like that for this image. And if you want to see the other photos also edited with a different software, I will use DaVinci Resolve for the other photos. Then stick around, I will do a video on these photos after that one. And see you guys in the comments. Peace.